All stand and remain standing until the conclusion of the reading of the proclamation. Ladies and gentlemen, the proclamation. All persons having any business before this honorable court now draw nigh. Give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Please be seated.
Admission of lawyers. William Harry Allchurch.
May it please the court, I move that William Harry Allchurch be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let William Harry Allchurch be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Christina Athanasopoulos.
May it please the court, I move that Christina Athanasopoulos be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Christina Athanasopoulos be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Neusha Baramrud.
May it please the court, I move that Neusha be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Neusha Baharamat be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
April Elizabeth Barton.
May it please the court, I move that my daughter April Elizabeth Barton be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let April Elizabeth Barton be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kate Louise Bookie.
May it please the court, I move that Kate Louise Bookie be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Kate Louise Bookie be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Chelsea Elise Brazier.
May it please the court, I move that Chelsea Elise Brazier be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Chelsea Elise Brazier be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Emily Claire Bristow.
May it please the court, I move that Emily Claire Bristow be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Emily Claire Bristow be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Emma Kate Buchholz.
May it please the court, I move that Emma Kate Buchholz be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Emma Kate Buchholz be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sarah Chadha.
May it please the court, I move that Sarah Chadha be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sarah Chadha be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Madison Jia Zin Kretha.
Madam Registrar.
May it please the court, I move that Madison Jarjin Creeper be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Yes, let Madison Chazing Kretha be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nicole Amy Dykes.
May it please the court, I move that Nicole Amy Dykes be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Nicole Amy Dykes be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Zihao Feng.
May it please the court, I move that Zihao Feng be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Zihao Feng be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mazena Fodonska.
May it please the court, I move that Mazena Fodonska be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Mazena Fodonska be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Madeline Rose Furchman.
May it please the court, I move that Madeline Rose Furchman be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Madeline Rose Furchman be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Demetrius Charles Havagia.
May it please the court, I move that Demetrius Charles Badger be admitted as a member of this honourable court.
Let Demetrius Charles Havagia be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Layla Viva Hessa Amiri.
May it please the court, I move that Layla Viva Hessa Amiri be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Layla Viva Hessa Amiri be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kirsten Mary Hobart.
May it please the court, I move that Kirsten Mary Hobart be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Kirsten Mary Hobart be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ali Bird Island.
May it please the court, I move that Ali Bird Island be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ali Bird Island be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Shamila Sophia Jordan Mee.
May it please the court. I move that Shamila Sophia Jordan Mee be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Shamila Sophia Jordan Mee be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Laurie Megan Kaddish.
May it please the court, I move that Laurie Megan Kaddish be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Laurie Megan Kaddish be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Olivia Elizabeth Kerr.
May it please the court, I move that Olivia Elizabeth Kerr be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Olivia Elizabeth Kerr be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Catherine Grace King.
May it please the court, I move that Catherine Grace King be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Catherine Grace King be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ravin Kumar.
May it please the court, I move that my brother Ravin Kumar be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ravin Kumar be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Anne Quark.
May it please the court, I move that Anne Quark be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Anne Quark be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Srileka Lankela.
May it please the court, I move that Sri Lekha Lankela be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sri Lekha Lankela be admitted as a lawyer of this court. Madam Associate.
Emily Ann Joel.
Madam Registrar, move.
I didn't have that.
Emily Ann
Emily
Joel.
Ann Joel.
Emily Ann
Joel.
Joel.
May it please the court, I move that Emily Ann Joel be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Emily Ann Joel be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Joshua Robert Lawson.
May it please the court, I move that Joshua Robert Lawson be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Joshua Robert Lawson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Fiona Lee.
May it please the court, I move that Fiona Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Fiona Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sing Lin Lee.
May it please the court, I move that Xing Ling Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Xingling Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Brandon Lysing Rowlands.
May it please the court, I move that Brandon Lysing Rowlands be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Brandon Lysing Rowlands be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ella Teresa McIntosh.
May it please the court, I move that Ella Teresa McIntosh be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ella Teresa McIntosh be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nicola Rosina Magyari.
May it please the court, I move that Nicola Rosina McGarry be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Nicola Rosina McGarry be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alexander Mandis.
May it please the court, I move that Alexander Mandis be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alexander Mandis be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Gabrielle Dawn MacDonald.
May it please the court, I move that Gabrielle Dawn MacDonald be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Gabrielle Dawn MacDonald be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sean Anthony McWhirter.
May it please the court, I move that my husband Sean Anthony McWhirter be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sean Anthony McWhirter be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Aidan Douglas Parsons.
May it please the court, I move that Aidan Douglas Parsons be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Aidan Douglas Parsons be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Caitlin Alana Rogers.
May it please the court, I move that Caitlin Alana Rogers be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Caitlin Alana Rogers be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Brittany Alexandra Ryan.
May it please the court, I move that Brittany Alexandra Ryan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Brittany Alexandra Ryan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Cassidy Louise Sternbeck Rutter.
May it please the court, I move that Cassidy Louise Sternbeck Rutter be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Cassidy Louise Sternbeck Rutter be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Isaac Muhammad Sakari.
May it please the court, I move that Isaac Mohammed Sakari be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Isaac Muhammad Sakari be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Salama Lakshmi Sundaramurthy.
May it please the court, I move that Salama Lakshmi Sundaramurthy be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Salama Lakshmi Sundaramurthy be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jessica Tran.
May it please the court, I move that Jessica Tran be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Jessica Tran be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Marjana Ventura.
May it please the court, I move that Mariana Ventura be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Marjana Ventura be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Julia Philomena White.
May it please the court, I move that Julia Philomena White be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Julia Philomena White be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Angelica Whitelaw.
May it please the court, I move that my partner, Angelica Whitelaw, be moved as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Angelica Whitelaw be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jessica Lee Yazbek.
May it please the court, I move that my niece, Jessica Lee Yazbek, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jessica Lee Yazbek be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ruth Amelia Yeend.
May it please the court, I move that my daughter, Ruth Amelia Yeend, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ruth Amelia Yeend be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Benjamin John Zmeshko.
May it please the court, I move that Benjamin John Zmeshko be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Benjamin John Zmeshko be admitted as a lawyer of this court. It will now be necessary for the applicants whose admission has just been moved to, as directed, stand and remain standing for the purposes of swearing an oath, or making a declaration or affirmation. So please stand as directed by the officiating officer.
Could rows 1 and 2 on my right please stand? William Harry Allchurch. Christina Athanasopoulos. Neusha Barnrud. April Elizabeth Barton. Kate Louise Bookie. Chelsea Elise Brazier. Emily Claire Bristow. Emma Kate Buchholz. Syra Chadha. Madison J. Jia Zin Kretha. Nicole Amy Dykes. Zihao Feng. Majena Fodonska. Madeline Rose Virchman. Demetrius Charles Avagia. Layla Viva Hessa Amiri. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state, according to the best of your knowledge, skill and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"?
I do.
Thank you. Please sit down. And could rows 3 and 4 to my right please stand? Kirsten Mary Hobart. Ali Bird Ireland. Emily Ann Joel. Shamila Sophia Jordan Mee. Laurie Megan Kaddish. Olivia Elizabeth Kerr. Catherine Grace King. Ravan Kumar. Anne Kwak. Srileka Lankala. Joshua Robert Lawson. Fiona Lee. Sing Lin Lee. Brandon Lighting Rollins. Ella Teresa McIntosh. Nicola Rosina Magyari. Alexander Mandis. Gabrielle Dawn MacDonald. Sean Anthony McWhirter, Aidan Douglas Parsons. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"? Thank you. Please sit down. There's Rose on my left. Please stand up. Caitlin Alana Rogers. Brittany Alexandra Ryan. Cassidy Louise Sternbach-Rutter. Isaac Muhammad Sukari. Salama Lakshini Sundaramurthy. Jessica Tran. Majana Ventura. Julia Philomena White. Angelica Whitelaw. Jessica Lee Yazbek. Ruth Amelia Yeend. Benjamin John Zmeskal. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"? Thank you. Please sit down.
Well, may I warmly welcome you all to the Banco Court of the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today, to my right, Justice Ward, who is the President of the New South Wales Court of Appeal, and to my left, Justice Kirk, who is a Judge of Appeal on the Court of Appeal. Together, we constitute the court that has, in the exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you to practice today. We've done so sitting on the land for which the Gadigal of the Eora Nation have cared and been custodians of for thousands of years, and the court pays its respects to the Gadigal elders, past and present, and extends those respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. To all of the new lawyers here today, welcome to the legal profession. Today is a day for great celebration. You have all, we know, worked extremely hard to get here. Countless late nights of study, obscure problem questions, wafer-thin pages of textbooks or staring at screens, and more cases than you can hope to remember. And for most of you, your journey has involved two extraordinarily challenging final years affected by the pandemic, in which some of you, I suspect, have been deprived of many of the opportunities for the forging of close bonds with your peers that those final 2 years of study usually present. So you have faced and come through additional adversity unprecedented in our lifetimes, and that makes your achievement in being admitted today all the more impressive. And I suspect that the resilience you will all have developed will stand you well into the future. In being admitted as a lawyer of this court, you join an honourable and ancient profession, with the custom of advocates swearing an oath on their admission to practice dating back to the 12th century. And this court first admitted lawyers almost 200 years ago in 1824, and by 1830 the name of lawyers was being entered onto the rolls of the state, just as you will do immediately after this ceremony. I'm also very pleased to welcome those of you with you today or watching on the live stream. For many of you, the support of your family and friends will have been invaluable, and no doubt they've also been on the receiving end of your finely polished or emerging skills of argument and persuasion. So I encourage you to take the time to thank them. And depending on how good an advocate you are, you might even convince them to shout you lunch, a late lunch or a long dinner. The law touches every part of our society, and it can and will lead you all in many different directions and career paths. But in whatever direction you head, you must always remember that the oath or affirmation that you have just made is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, for legal aid, for a Crown Law Office, a government department or agency, or indeed in an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice. And you must strive at all times to uphold these cardinal values. Admission as a member of the legal profession in New South Wales is a privilege. It is not a right. And it is in acknowledgement of the weighty responsibility that we observe today's unique formalities, including the fact that your admission has been moved by somebody who was already a member of the profession, and by the fact that you have made a public, formal oath or affirmation in the presence of your family and peers. They and we, the judges on the bench, are all witnesses to the promises and undertakings you have made today. As to formality, you will see from some of the portraits around the walls of this court that we are wearing the same robes, in some cases literally, as have been worn by our predecessors. Symbolically, that highlights the continuity of the rule of law in New South Wales, although the judges wearing the robes are now drawn from an increasingly diverse pool. As to continuity of the rule of law, in a world in which there is much global uncertainty and insecurity, the rule of law is more important than ever, and is not simply a phrase of some theoretical interest. The rule of law is the opposite of the arbitrary abuse of power and the rule of autocratic dictators and populists. We know that there is nothing theoretical about those phenomena. Although we mark today's ceremony with formality and tradition, not everything in the legal profession remains unchanging. The pandemic meant a rapid shift to increased use of virtual courtroom technology to ensure that access to justice continued in the midst of the pandemic. We thought that was an extremely important thing to happen, whilst at the same time recognising the need for open justice, effective communication, and fairness to participants, that those important values were not sacrificed. The technology, the greater use of technology, has delivered greater workplace flexibility, which is especially important for lawyers with family responsibility, and has had profound implications for how our legal system interacts with and may become more accessible to more people. But although the increased use of technology offers a number of advantages, the practice of the law has human nature and human interaction at its core. An essential part of being a good lawyer is to understand people, how others react to different situations, perform under pressure, and deal with each other. And as I said in my swearing-in speech as Chief Justice, whilst the remote practice of the law through the use of technology may be possible, it is far from desirable. There are and have been other changes in the legal profession that deserve attention in addition to those brought about by the pandemic. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter something of a duality. We have come very far, but on the other hand, much still needs to be done. Take the case of women in the profession, for example. Quite extraordinarily, from our perspective, women were once not even permitted to practice in this state. But since 2018, women have made up more than half of all solicitors with a practicing certificate in New South Wales, and currently make up approximately 2/3 of solicitors under the age of 30. And women occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including the Chief Justice of Australia, the Chief Justices of Victoria, Queensland and the ACT, our President, Justice Ward, President of the Court of Appeal, and Justice Mullins, the President of the Queensland Court of Appeal, and Justice Emerton, the President of the Victorian Court of Appeal, as well as the current State and Commonwealth Directors of Public Prosecutions and the Senior Public Defender. So we've come a long way in terms of gender diversity, but there should also be strong representation of lawyers from the many different backgrounds which comprise our cosmopolitan community. Diverse representation amongst solicitors, advocates, and judges assists in ensuring that all people who become involved in our justice system, from whatever background they are, can and feel that they can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system which reflects our broader community. That we regard as a very important matter. The admission ceremonies on which I have sat since becoming a judge almost 4 years ago, including this ceremony, highlight that there is a far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers than when I commenced practice. That is a very good thing, and the leaders of the profession and of the courts are working hard to foster inclusiveness and diversity. You, the newly admitted lawyers, enter the profession at a time when more than ever your words and actions are having an impact for good. You are being heard and taken seriously when you agitate to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unfair laws, systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable, or unsustainable working cultures, sexual harassment or bullying. You should speak up for the things that matter and in which you believe. That is in the finest tradition of being a lawyer. I would also urge you to engage with your communities beyond your immediate jobs. Your training as a lawyer in systematic thought, in the importance of matters of principle and fundamental fairness, including due process and natural justice, equip you very well for service and engagement beyond day-to-day practice and in the wider community. You will derive great satisfaction from such engagement and contribute to the orderly workings of our community and society more broadly. Now, turning from opportunities to obligations and a little bit of friendly advice, I hope. As a lawyer, you will often need to make difficult ethical decisions. You must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court and to the administration of justice. One particular mistake you must not make is to fall into the habit of giving your clients the advice you think they want to hear. I can assure you that that will not be good advice. Justice Gageler, before he was on the High Court, said, and I quote, "You must be prepared to give the same answer to the same questions for the same reasons, no matter who asks the question or for what purpose or what context the asking may occur." Now that is, as you might expect from Justice Gageler, very good advice indeed. Being a lawyer means that you are an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate. And as you go about your day-to-day work, I would urge you to remember that you are not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum, but the law as it applies to people's lives. An individual in need of your services as a lawyer will in many cases be an individual facing some kind of great personal challenge or crisis affecting his or her liberty, property, personal well-being, or health or financial position. For these reasons, you must always strive to deliver legal services sensitively, competently and fearlessly, of course, but always with courtesy and integrity. And in that context, I want to mention the importance of civility. Aspects of the practice of law, especially if you're involved in litigation, are confrontational. The practice of the law can, however, be stressful and demanding enough without personal animus and antagonism between practitioners adding to the load. So it's essential that you maintain your detachment, professionalism, balance, and good humour at all time, remembering that you are members of a profession, not a business. We think that is a very important thing to bear in mind. And remember this, the best advocates can and do make their points simply and succinctly. Often, less is more. Some of the most experienced lawyers and judges could also use that reminder from time to time, and I include myself in that. For a non-lawyer, law can be, and often is, remote and incomprehensible. And one of your challenges and roles as a lawyer will be to make the law accessible to others, your clients, sometimes by deciphering legal complexity, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes simply by explaining what to you may be basic concepts, but which to lay clients may be difficult to understand. So strive to be clear and concise at all times in both your writing and your speaking. At various points of your career, you will make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. We all make mistakes from time to time, especially when starting something new. What is important is that you try not to make the same mistake twice, and if you do make mistakes, that your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice means that you take responsibility and ownership for those mistakes, correct what you can, and learn from them going forward. I want to emphasise this, that in the practice of the law, your physical and mental health are both extremely important. There may, and I dare say will be, times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out, or distressed. Legal practice can be all-consuming and physically and mentally taxing. Now, that's often because lawyers will want to and do go the extra mile for their clients. They are passionately committed to their clients' causes, solving their clients' problems, and all of that is admirable. But it can be, as I say, all-consuming. And so you must work hard to keep your balance and keep your eye up to ensure that your colleagues do as well. If you do get overwhelmed by it all, as frankly we all have from time to time, even as judges, try to take a step back and recapture some perspective, or suggest gently to your colleagues who you think have lost a bit of balance that they do so as well. And in this context, you should know or remember that the law is a highly collegiate profession, and in times of difficulty, the support and friendship of your peers, professional peers, will prove invaluable. Both the Law Society and the Bar Association, the two peak bodies for legal professionals, are very conscious of the demands of practice and offer tremendous support and professional collegiality to members of the profession, especially those starting out. So get involved and in touch with the Law Society and the Bar Association. They're both very dynamic and valuable professional organisations. Now, can I say this to you all in closing? The law is a wonderful profession. It's stimulating, it's challenging and satisfying, and it's populated by intelligent, committed and dynamic people, such as yourselves. You should be proud to be a lawyer and of your achievements to date, and you should remain proud to be a lawyer. It is a very important profession, and you are now a very important part of that profession. So hold your heads high and the very best of luck on the exciting journey that lies ahead. On behalf of the President, Justice Kirk, and indeed all of our colleagues on the Supreme Court, I once again congratulate you all on your admission today and welcome you to the legal profession. The court will now adjourn.
All stand. This honourable court is now adjourned. God save the Queen.